Hey peeps, this year I've been invited by the students, the graduating students of the University of Puget Sound, the class of 2021. They invited me to be the faculty speaker at their convocation. And it was an honor, and I share this with you and dedicate it not just to them, but to all graduating students for this year. 2021 has been a difficult year. I salute you and join with your families celebrating you. Remember, as you watch this, I'd love to hear from you about your graduation experiences and the experiences of your family. So share, comment, like, and subscribe. Getting this done. Let's talk about graduation. Share, comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks. Dear class of 2021, congratulations. I'm honored by your nomination, and I deliver this address to acknowledge your resilience and celebrate you. Your theme of resilience resonates for your class, for the needs of this moment, and for me. Resilience is the quality we in African American Studies have embraced for the survival of our students and faculty over the last 5 years. I acknowledge here that your convocation takes place in the shadow of Mount Tahoma by the Salish Sea on the land of the welcoming people, the Puyallup. Your resilience can draw from their millennia of survival and striving against genocidal pressures. Our resilience is also inspired by generations of Black and brown survivors across the Americas. I salute you, the most diverse cohort of college graduates in U.S. history. Among you are the second graduating class of GQS majors, the fourth graduating class of African American Studies majors, graduates from Latin American Studies, and a range of grads from new and established disciplines across the liberal arts spectrum. Pacific Islander Studies and Native American Studies still to come. I am proud of you. You started college with the nation in crisis. Crises including a 100-year pandemic have stalked your college years, and you graduate into a world of crises. You matriculated against the backdrop of chants and sentiments from one group of Americans seeking to take America back, presumably from those promoting inclusion and difference as strengths. From K-12 through college, your schooling has been framed by a curriculum increasingly acknowledged as deficient and grounded in white supremacist sentiment and in settler colonialist practices. This is not new. Since the 15th century, regimes of domination have produced devastating social formations framed as appropriate practices. Transatlantic slavery, colonialism, and imperialism have linked Europe, Africa, and the Americas in a triangular relationship of exploitation and destruction. The results show up in our education. Across the Americas, education reflects and serves the structures of domination that determine what gets taught and who gets to teach and learn. The result is schooling that often alienates, obfuscates, miseducates, or educates for ignorance. You, however, have been transgressive. You are resistors. You've pressed against the norms of this alienation and pushed for better and more inclusive education, even as you've had to become more resilient to survive the experience. Our race and pedagogy assessment data tell us that you as students have a deep desire to think deeply and critically about subjects related to racism, identity, power, and privilege. In Bell Hooks' terms, within our present educational system, these are transgressive desires, and they are often frowned upon. But they must be engaged for education to serve freedom. From as far back as Aristotle in the 5th century, prepon or prudence, now rendered as appropriateness, civility, or respectability, have been used as instruments to blunt transgression and to protect the status quo. So while this kind of transgression is rejected by some, it is critical for education that promotes freedom. I now realize that transgression was required at every stage of my own educational development and my journey from the fishing village of Old Harbour Bay, Jamaica, to the higher education classroom as a professor. Black and brown students often share their sense that they don't belong in the college setting, the imposter syndrome. I myself have faced resistance and have been told that I don't belong, including at Puget Sound. Yet, I come from Love and Marilla Gordon, survivors from Old Harbour Bay. So I teach and model resilience for my children and for my students. Many of you have had to transgress boundaries and barriers in your journey to this milestone of a college degree. Congratulations. Keep on defying the odds stacked against you. You belong. I had to defy those odds to get here. I now work as one of those teachers who has prepared you to learn for a lifetime, to grapple with an education structured for dominance, and to question and examine everything, including your own assumptions and ours as well. We also insist that students from historically marginalized groups or BIPOC students need to see themselves and their life experiences prominently in their education. Class of 2021, you have insisted that these are immediate needs. Growing numbers of educators agree. Because of you, there is new urgency to prepare educators who will, in Marilyn Cochran Smith's terms, engage in unlearning as part of pushing against visible and invisible assumptions, systems, principles, ideas, beliefs, and practices that produce and reproduce inequities in schools and societies. Because of you and your voice, belonging has recently become a primary educational goal. You've pressed the need for decentering whiteness as a central principle, especially in the liberal arts. You helped to get us to this moment, but we still need your critical minds and your leadership for the work ahead on climate change, the environment, on health, economics, and on racial justice. As you step into the new challenges, with few roadmaps or blueprints, many will offer advice. Here's mine. Engage with others to reimagine and remake the world. You have all the tools to do it.